You want to talk about openly tanking? It is not the Arizona Cardinals. 800-224-2004. So for those of you that weren't paying attention to Major League Baseball last night, Jeff Passan decided to go ahead and drop the hammer on exactly why the Los Angeles Angels have to be one of the biggest jokes of an organization in baseball. Because according to reports, the Angels have placed starting pitcher Lucas Giolito, relievers Matt Moore and Renato Lopez, outfielders Hunter Renfroe and Randall Grichuk on waivers for the end of the year. They lose last night. No surprise there, but that's not really the story. The story is they're letting go of players and they're openly saying the season is done. This is a visual representation of you waving the white flag, you calling it a day, and just getting ready for next season. Here's the problem with what they did. Look at the names I just listed off. Lucas Giolito, Matt Moore, Renato Lopez, Hunter Renfroe, Randall Grichuk. 3 of those names you added in within the last month. Grichuk, Lopez, Giolito. You traded away players in your farm system to add in 2 pitchers and an outfielder that haven't had success, but you did so because you thought that you were going to make a run for one of the AL wildcard spots. That's exactly what happened. And unfortunately, you play in arguably the best division in baseball, which automatically hurts your stance. But you did this because if you were trying to show Shohei Ohtani, we are here to contend. We are here to be an organization that actually means business. We're not going to go down without a fight. We're trying to prove to you that you belong here in this city. You're a part of this organization for the long-term future. We know that if we show you that we can build a contender, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to keep you around for the foreseeable future. Nope. You openly just admitted we're done with everything. We're done. How do you let this happen? How do you let this happen? Because it's one thing to go ahead and say, oh, you know what? We're not going to trade away Shohei Ohtani because we're not getting the trade value in return. Like, remember when Juan Soto got traded and you gave up C.J. Abrams and you gave up Mackenzie Gore and 4 or 5 really good prospects that could go into a farm system, and San Diego could eventually contend for the likes of a World Series title? And they nearly did so. I mean, they got all the way to the NLCS. That's one thing. The problem here is that you had no farm system. You were already limited at the players that were going to be potential building blocks for your future. And you trade away all those assets to go land potential players who stunk since they came over to the West Coast, Best Coast. But now that they're all free agents, now that everyone else can pick up their salaries, and that's the one thing that I think will hold teams back, is that if they do claim these players off of waivers, they also have to take on their salaries for the remainder of the year. You're basically saying it doesn't really matter anymore. We don't really care what happens. And if you're Shohei Ohtani and you're seeing this, you should be livid. You should absolutely be laughing your ass off. You absolutely should be frustrated knowing that you're a part of this organization and this should be the final straw. Because if you're openly just trying to suck at this point, and what you're showing is the same problems that have been occurring for years on end with Artie Moreno running the show, is that they're still here. There's still an issue. Even though that they try to contend, they don't do enough to be able to put themselves in any bit of a conversation. You swung big. You struck out. It happens in the sport. But the thing is that now that you're saying, oh, well, the going got tough, let's just go ahead and call it quits. This is what your identity is for the greatest player in baseball right now. And yes, is Shohei Ohtani going to be pitching in 2024? No. Is that going to lessen his value when it comes to his overall market? Probably in terms of annual salary. But every team in the country is going to want a Shohei Ohtani on their roster for marketing purposes, for production purposes, for overall potential purposes. You still want Shohei. You just took yourself out of the Shohei sweepstakes. You did. Because if you were to at least keep these players on staff, and maybe at some point in September, some of them start to hit. Some of them start to kind of find their stride again. Well, Shohei, we made these moves. We showed you that we were trying to contend. We just couldn't close the gap at the last second. Unfortunately, that was on us. But you know what? At least we showed you something. Now what you're showing him is well, we don't really care about baseball. We don't really care about what's going to happen in the regular season. We just are going to go and say, sayonara, best of luck next season. And you have nothing to show for next season. There's no farm system. The players that are good in your farm system have already been raised up to the major league level. Because if you had to bring them up based off of potential. And the players that currently are on your roster aren't good enough to go ahead and get you over the hump. So if you're Shohei Ohtani, why the hell are you going to re-sign there in the offseason? Even if they were to offer you $375 million on a 10-year contract. Better yet, $375 million on an 8-year contract. Why are you going to take that deal? Because the ultimate goal for you is to end up being a part of World Series championships, being a part of winning culture, and being the X factor for the reason why your team is going from being a legitimate pretender to an absolute contender. And there's nothing to show there. There's nothing. This is going to be one of the worst teams in baseball for the next 5 to 10 years, hands down. Because if they won't have a farm system that they can call up players and build a rapport with, they don't have the quality of talent surrounding Shohei and Mike Trout to where they're going to be contenders in their own division. And they don't have anything to show in terms of the salary. And yeah, you can spend money every offseason. Like the one thing about baseball that is completely different than every other sport out there is that you can spend however much the owner wants to spend. There is no salary cap structure. If a guy like Uncle Steve Cohen wants to break out the bank and give $1 billion to 6 players, he can do so. Now, the results will definitely differ, but you can do that. The problem is that now you just showed everybody that you don't really care. You're not an actual quality franchise. You just are running through the motions every single season. And you wasted the best years of Shohei, or several of the best years of Shohei. You wasted the entire career of Mike Trout. And you have one playoff appearance, not series victory, appearance to show for it. You openly just showed the MLB and everyone around you that you are a team that when the going gets tough, we're out of the conversation. That's it. 800-224-2004. This is absolutely asinine, and I feel so bad for Angels fans because if they have hope and belief and at least some expectation just to be relevant, and the only relevancy here that we talk about with the Angels moving forward, and the only thing that we have been talking about for a while, is how pathetic of an excuse their organization is. There's no positivity. You're able to be in the biggest market in America outside of New York, and you play in a state that features talent like the Golden State Warriors. They've won a title. The Los Angeles Lakers, they've won a title. The Dodgers, every single year, they're a 100-plus win team. USC is now on the come up with Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley. UCLA has Chip Kelly. You look at football. The Chargers have a quarterback of potential in Justin Herbert, and they've been to the playoffs. The Rams said F the picks, but you know what? At least they got a Lombardi trophy out of it. You have the Clippers that at least have guys and superstars with PG and Kawhi Leonard. And then you're just kind of showing up to the ballpark and saying, hi, we exist. That's us. It's a terrible look for you. It's the absolute worst thing possible. And the problem is that now you're going to lose Shohei in free agency. You lost all your players that were relevant in the farm system to bring over Giolito, bring over Lopez, bring over Grichuk. CJ Cron right now is on the IL, but I can guarantee you if he wasn't, he also would be placed on waivers. And now basically you're hitting the reset button every single way possible. At this point, I'm fielding phone calls for Mike Trout. At this point, I'm fielding phone calls for Anthony Rendon. I'm fielding phone calls for any player of relevancy so I can get some bit of return. That way I can at least start with building my farm system back up. Because if I don't have a farm system, I have nothing. Like we're talking about the Oakland Athletics. They are absolutely openly trying to be bad. And John Fisher's doing this because he is a crybaby owner who wants to move to Las Vegas. He's trying to show the state of California and Major League Baseball, oh, baseball doesn't work in Oakland. No, it doesn't work because you're the owner, you nitwit. But the problem is that Artie Moreno thinks that the moves that he is making with his organization are good, and they're really nothing. They're nothing. And now you're not going to have anything to show for it with a guy in Shohei Ohtani. You're probably need to let go of Mike Trout. And even if you do get some significant return, it's not the same value you would have gotten a few years ago when you realize, oh, my team is god-awful. So congratulations to the Los Angeles Angels. You have probably surpassed the Chicago White Sox and the Oakland A's as being the dumpster fire of the MLB. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.